We love building, and sometimes it's good to be reminded why exactly. We're not just putting bricks together. This set actually shone a light on that, on that for me, and reminded me of what I love about building in the first place. And all these amazing Easter eggs in there that I can't wait to share with you. There's lots going on here. Let's get going. All right, so I'm not implying that I've lost my will to build Lego or anything, but I've built so much of it over the years that sometimes you forget what the magic is. And from time to time, a set comes along that really pulls you back to what that was like for the very first time when you had that like, wow, they can really do this with Lego? And this set was one of those things for me. This is Pixar's Luxo Jr. It's featured, of course, in the Pixar animation of the opening for their credits, but also it was a star of a film back in 1986, a short film that I had the pleasure of seeing in the theaters, and it really kicked off sort of computer animation. And so there's really a lot of history behind this, but it also is a fun build on top of it. So I got it for the reminder of what it meant, and then once I was building it, I was like, oh, I'm really reminded about why I love Lego so much and why I love building it. If you are new to the channel, hi, my name is Paul. I've been building and collecting Lego for over 25 years, and I use that information to give my opinion on things that I build and just on the way that we connect with Lego in general. So it's not always the newest sets, but it's always a new opinion about something. So welcome. All right, so let's get into this set. Okay, so what I want to do is talk first a little bit about why I kind of realized I wasn't engaged with Lego in the same way always, and that was a surprise to me. And then I'm going to talk about this set and all the wonderful things it contains and do a full review. And so if you only want to see that part, please feel free to skip ahead. But let's talk about why, when I say I disengaged, it's not fully disengaged. I've loved every set that I've ever built, and except for some themes I don't really care about. But and I'm building more now that I have this channel than I did in the past. And so some things have shifted. And I think as a collector, there are natural things that can happen. So sometimes you realize that some stuff becomes maybe a little formulaic in the way that you're building it. So for example, buildings that have a lot of corner pieces, or you're doing brickwork or windows, a lot of windows, sometimes that can feel like, okay, I'm just building for the sake of putting this together. You also can have that experience of doing too many of the same kinds of sets. So I have friends who love the Formula One stuff or love the automotive themes, but after a while, there is some consistency within those builds that you kind of can check out a little bit. As much as you love it, right? I have stuff that sometimes it's maybe it's not really meant for me. It's maybe I'm building it because I want to know what the experience is like, but it's maybe not for a grown-up, right, or an adult skill level. So it might feel too simple. It feels like you're just putting bricks together instead of actually creating something. And then the big one for me was that, and this is the aha that I had with this set, was that building by its very nature can be a solitary experience. It's one of the reasons that I actually love this hobby, because it's something I can do by myself, and it's a zen moment, a zone out kind of moment. I'm probably using the word zen wrong, but there were moments in this build where I was like, hey, look at this. I wanted to show somebody because it was so fun and things that I didn't expect. And that pulled me back into, hey, yes, this is a collective experience. Whether or not you know people in your life who build Lego, whether you've ever built Lego with anybody else, anyone who collects or builds Lego is part of a community. And, it's not in the last few years that we've noticed that online and on social media that there's so many people who do this and talk about Lego. And that's not an accident. We really are part of a big group of people, and that feels fun. And so the fact that a build can pull me into that motion and make me feel like I want to share that with people, I think that really ignited a spark for me. So I'd love if you put in the comments if there's any times you've ever kind of like mentally drifted away while you've been building, and what was it that you were working on. I'd love to know. Compare some of mine a little bit later too. All right, so without that being put aside, let's talk about this set in particular. And during that, I will talk about why I actually loved it so much, what there was that really made me excited. Hey, so this is a Lego Ideas set, meaning a designer submitted it and then Lego produced it. There's information about this designer actually in the instruction booklet, and props to them because this really is a beautiful construction. It was a really good price, I thought, for the piece count. Even though it's a smaller scale, there are a lot of pieces going on here. And I have to say, one of the things that we know going into this, if you've heard any of the rumors before building it yourself, is that it is so full of Easter eggs, you're going to need a basket. And in fact, some of them are listed in the instructions, but some are not. And so you kind of have to look to yourself and maybe do some research online to find out what things are. I think I got a lot of them. I'm going to show you what I found, but I may not have got everything. So that's part of the joy of this. In addition, there are some unique piece usage, but also some unique pieces and colors and things that we actually haven't seen before. So when you put those three things together, it really becomes a collector's dream in that way. And that was not what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a fun build to sort of acknowledge what this iconic moment was. I was expecting all the wonderful stuff that goes along with it. So I want to go now to all the different ways you can pose this and how clever that is. All right, this lamp actually moves much like a real lamp would. And so I'm going to show you some of that functionality because it's part of the things that sells it for me. I wasn't expecting it to move. I thought it would be more of a static model, but it has a lot of the actual movement that a real Luxo lamp would have. So you've got your base, you also have the lampshade itself and the neck and the mobility there. So this gives it a lot of those character movement pieces that I think are so charming. And if, I remember seeing this in the theaters and thinking, oh yeah, like design firms really did have that kind of lamp. I know that I wanted one in my dorm, for example. So it's kind of exciting that it's a real feature. You've got the ball, which is really beautifully constructed. In fact, when I was putting it together, I wasn't sure it was going to work out. And then it's just this beautifully perfect sphere. It's very clever. You get a base plate that you can actually set it on, and the base plate actually helps you transform it to be able to act out part of the film. So hold on for a second. Again, I just want to reiterate how the construction of the ball is so satisfying when it's together. It truly rolls and feels solid, beyond my hopes for this, for sure. Given how important the ball is to Luxo Jr.'s story, I'm glad it wasn't an afterthought build, so bravo. If you remove two sections of the ball, it actually does then sit on this display piece, which allows you to be able to mount the lamp actually on top. So you get the iconic moment from the intro of Pixar films where the ball is being squashed by the lamp. Not completely flat, but you get this really nice display option for it, which I think is fantastic. And again, was unexpected to me. Even though it's on the carton, I just somehow missed it. Even the small studio light that I have, the junior one, well, I think was inspired. Don't get any ideas. Okay, so I said at the beginning that there were things during this build that pulled me out of the experience and made me think wow, I got to share this with somebody. And in fact, I did. I texted lots of pictures to friends and family saying look at this Easter egg, look at this. And they tried to be excited for me. But it did make me feel like that sense of community that I was missing when I'm just building by myself. And that's what is so important about what we all do here together. That's part of bonding over Lego, right? A lot of these Easter eggs, I saw 27 different unique Easter eggs that referenced different Pixar characters and films. And they're all using color blocks to be able to do that, to represent these characters. And what I love so much is that they're all contained when the build is completed. You don't see it, but as a collector, you know that it's in there. And that is really special, that the entire world of what makes Pixar so special is actually contained in this one model. And it's so fitting because this is that first really licensed Pixar character like this, which we really love. So I'm going to let you see them all, and then we're going to show you some other unique things before we wrap up. Here's who I found in the color blocks. I saw Alfredo and Remy. I saw Carl Fredricksen and Russell. I saw Coco and some Day of the Dead Flowers. I saw a bunch of characters from The Incredibles, actually. Frozone, Edna, Jack Jack, Syndrome, the Bob, Helen, Violet, and Dash Parr. I saw Joy and Sadness. I saw Lightning McQueen and Mater, Marlin and Dory. There actually is a little build of the Pizza Planet truck. And you've also got Woody and Buzz, as well as Sully and Mike Wazowski. So some really fun things that all together represent all of our favorite characters. There are some things that have not been in sets before, so these pieces are new printed pieces. For example, all over the ball, you've also got the two parts of the shade, which are also new, screened with to look like the venting. So that's stuff we've never seen before. These two molds are different. As well, there's lots and lots of pieces that, to me, look like that we've seen them before, the shapes, but not in these colors, which makes it really interesting. And so many different shapes and sizes. A lot of them get hidden or buried inside, but some of them are used for decorative purposes, and so they really are integral to the model. So lots going on there. So some of the people are complaining online about this set, and there are three things that come up a lot. One of the things I do agree with, which is I would have loved a light brick here. I would have loved a light brick option. I think it would have been difficult to maybe make that work from the scale, but it just would have given you that extra light impression, which I think would have been fun. The second thing is the piece count versus the price. This isn't necessarily, even though it's a licensed character, it's not really a well-known one, not one that you would be seeking out generally. So I think the price must be coming from these pre-printed pieces, right, on the ball and on the shade itself. So it's fine for me because it's emotional. And this is the third thing, is there a limited resale value for this if you're a collector? Unless you're someone who remembers it fondly or has a real emotional connection to the films in general or that particular launch of this character, are you going to want it later? So who knows? We're not really sure. But light brick, yes, please. So whether you like the unique pieces, whether you like the unique little micro builds that give you all the character Easter eggs, or whether you just like the nostalgia from this set, I hope that you enjoy it as much as I did if you purchase it and put it together. I feel like you will. It's part of being in this community that we get to talk about Lego and revel in it and love what we do, right? And so please share with me what you thought about this build or what your favorite build is from something licensed like that gives you that nostalgic feeling that you want to share it with other people. It's a really powerful emotion to remind us that it's important for us to have these things to do for ourselves, for our mental health, but also really important to be able to have people that we can talk about it with. So thanks for being here to bond about it with me. All right, so as I always say, whether you have this Lego set, whether you have any Lego set, doesn't matter. Remember, you've got this, and we're all in this together. That's part of creating this community. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. If you can leave a message or a comment, that's even better for me as I grow this channel for all of us. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here and letting me shed a light on why I love this set so much and what it reminded me of and why it's so important to do this. All right, take care. We'll see you guys next time. Ciao.